Hey Sam, happy Sunday. I've got my final tomorrow. It is combinatorics, which is not the worst of a class, except the teacher is evil and mean, and for some reason the final 30% of our final grade, and like, so I did the math, and I need, as long as I get above a 78% in the final, I get an A. But the issue is the final is like non-trivial, and I definitely should get above that. I have done, I've gone A's and most of the midterms, got a B on one, but, I mean, I don't know. Because all my other classes, it was like, some of them did have a final be like 20-30% of my grade as well, but in all of those, they had extra credit, or the final was so very simple that, I didn't have to worry about it. Leaving this as the one and only class that I actually have to worry about doing poorly on, or at least poorly in the final, and I could still get a B, but I don't know. I do intend to get an A, and I guess we shall see tomorrow. It's also at 11:20 in the morning, which means I need to wake up at 10:30 in the morning, which is just way too early for me. I guess we'll use the rest of the time to give a rant about how terrible flying back here was. Because, okay, Sam, I arrive at Philadelphia Airport at my flight was supposed to depart at 12:30, so I arrive at 10:30, having left home at 9:50, okay? Then we get there, the flight is getting delayed 15 minutes, which is whatever. But yeah, so 15 minutes later, people start boarding the plane. And then they have to make everyone on board, because apparently there was some maintenance they needed to do because of some stuff that was broken, and then that took an hour, and then turned to another part was also broken, and then that part was important to something, and then they need to get approval from headquarters, so they had to call up the head engineer, at Frontier or whatever, people from the head office, and I think with Denver or something. And so they called people up and then get a bunch of paperwork approved. And eventually, I don't know if they got it fixed or they just found that it was safe to fly anyways. And eventually they got everyone on the plane. But at which point, because it had taken so long, there were now people who had missed their connections. So they had to deboard the plane. And then that wasted another hour. And at that point, it turned out the plane had been idling for so long that the crew had timed out and that they weren't able to fly anymore. So now they had to deboard everyone from the plane. Which means at some point people had already boarded twice. And still weren't flying yet. And then we ended up having to, apparently delayed the actual flight till 9:30, and so we had to wait for another 5 hours at this point. The entire flight ended up being delayed 11 hours. It was brutal, it was miserable. I finally got back to my dorm at 1 in the morning. It was a very not fun time. I ended up having to miss a Christmas party because of it. It was very sad. Okay, that's all the time I have for you today, Sam. I'll see you on Wednesday, back home. Bye, brother.